D falling down first. Yakpeng now is going to be able to get aggressive. It just leaves it up to IDK, who is going to be falling down, and that sustainability for the Spark is slowly diminishing before their eyes. They may want to respect that as the NYXL, they take the point first.
Yeah, slow rotations from the NYXL, but just having the ball to touch there to actually contest is almost perfect, and then slowly but surely Bianca and the rest of the team can rotate towards the point.
Chaos. Bernard's out of the mech right now, and the pulse bomb stick onto Jonak, but Yakpeng coming in with the retaliation. He completely eliminates Gushue Bernard, and the follow-up already, the NYXL, despite losing that member at the very beginning of the fight with Jonak.
Are you serious? Flora just missed 3 or 4 shots on a dynamite on the floor to try and kill Godsby, and now he's just spawn camping. Luckily, Yakpeng is there, going to be there to save him. Are they actually going to be able to find a kill on Godsby? Okay, they do manage to chase him down in the end.
He's on floor, he's on the back line, and here he goes.
He misses.
Utilizing the EMP, and he gets both support, but they immediately shut him down. The way that Godsby was able to react to that, and now Architect getting that pulse pick off of Jonak. That's 2 members down for the NYXL. And Gods, Bernard took so much of that damage, he gets demech'd afterwards, and the Spark, they're at that disadvantage with the NYXL now taking the point first.
Yeah, that was super nice from NYXL. They took basically 3 angles against Gushue there, setting up course. Stop Yakpeng just blowing them up. He does end up getting hacked. Architect now changing from the Mei over to the Sombra as the window gets opened up, and the EMP is huge.
The EMP not only negating the Ant Matrix, but also now the NYXL, they're moving right on the point. They find 3 picks. Flora's down, but it doesn't matter. They still have the advantage, finding 3 members of Spark. Bernard's going to meet up with them. They're just going to wait Bernard to stagger. Quite unfortunate, but nothing you can do here. I mean, on NYXL, they want to expand that lead here, Jaws, and that's exactly what they're doing. And the first time in the round, now being able to have that EMP online from Ivy, they do manage to demech Bernard, and finding 2, the EMP coming in, and now here comes Ivy. They completely not only negate Gushue and his shatter, but the NYXL, they gave that point very briefly to the Spark, and they may want to get in some respect. Oh, the Avengers should just try to contest Flora on the high ground. I like the way that NYXL is playing this, though. They're very spread out, and they're purposely splitting the attention from Spark.
I don't know how IDK got the kill onto Jonak there. I think Friday was potentially rezzing, just looking at the kill feed. EMPs were lapped, by the way. Ivy did manage to get one before Architect get his, but Architect used his first. Flora is just immortal on this high ground too, just taking pot shots at the front line. Gushue manages to maybe find the flip again, just needs to push the Sombra off the point, and he does find the flip. NYXL just slacking just a little bit.
And they do have that Bob that you were talking about here, Jaws. Architect, though, finds that first pick off of Ivy. Actually going to be difficult here to build into that EMP, but now the Nano Boost coming alive. Jonak trying to keep the rest of NYXL sustained here, and the Bob is going to be able to take care of Godspeed. Flora bombing off, quick little 3K over to the side. You see the way he's been able to try to melt down Gushue's shield. Gushue forced to get back onto the point. Overtime is taken away, and Spark, unfortunately, no one left to touch this point. So that way, yeah, they could at least back up. You currently have Friday and IDK on the Lucio, so that way the fast rotations could go in. Great Flash coming forward, but the Immortality Field, and Gushue taking so much of that damage, he gets cleaned up first, and that's going to follow up by the rest of Spark. They may want to go for a reset here, because the NYXL is already off to a strong foot.
Yeah, Yakpeng with 5, all right, give him the 6th. Okay, but they're just going to stagger the Baby Diva, of course, but he's got to secure this kill, surely. The high ground, but the window is going to force them to make an attempt at doing something. A wall to lift Flora up, and he gets instantly killed by the Coalescence.
That could have gone terribly wrong right there. Flora had a line of sight, but you know, he actually fell him. MCD actually reacting with that Coalescence to take him out, burn him out of the fight. Jonak is going to meet him in the spawn, and Yakpeng now going to be able to retaliate with a shatter and finds Gushue. The follow between Yakpeng and Bianca is extreme, not only creating a lot of that space to wait out for the rest of NYXL to meet up with the team, but Godspeed now creating that space himself with the Deadeye, but it's to no avail here. Jaws Flora now finding IDK and the Spark. They may want to respect the NYXL. In the shatter as well, but not finding anyone, and now the Diva Bomb to go right over the Maywall. They gotta be able to shield it, but they still find Friday in the back. Unfortunate placement right there from Friday. The Ant Matrix now to control this high ground, and that was the battle for the high ground between both these teams. They want to make sure they had that position advantage, and also to try to find some of those picks to build into those ultimates.
Yeah, support, by the way, as Jonak is just laser beaming everybody down. Like, there's nothing much you could do when he's sitting behind a window.
window and opening to the door. The sound barrier coming alive from NYXL to allow the engage here. The way that IDK though was able to retaliate with sound barrier themselves and the pin onto Jonak. Trading that though, they've lost Gushui from Florizetta. They need to stay on the point or else they do contest it. They contested it right on time here, but the Blizzard is going to be able to create some of that space. They're dropping down one by one, and the Spark, they're finding trades, but the NYXL have that number advantage in their favor.
Wow, that's so nice. Even Jonak dying there didn't really mean a whole bunch because Ivy had his Blizzard.
Point B, Flora now finds IDK, and the Shatter coming alive from Gushui. IDK is gone though, and Gushui is taking a lot of that damage. That leaves it up to MCD for that sustainability, and it's not going to be enough if the NYXL now have Friday's sound barrier to be able to hold aggressively forward.
Yeah, they don't need Jonak to win these fights apparently at all. They're able to just survive with the Lucio healing somehow. The way you just hold up on that high ground real quick, it does you wonders, especially if your Batiste getting some nice angles. Speaking of angles, Godspeed angled a bullet right through Flora's temple, and Jonak dies again to a pin.
Okay, all right. One, that's unfortunate for Jonak, but two, the Spark coming out of the gate, swinging, sending the NYXL back, and oh no, this is revenge. This is revenge right now, Jaws. This is you remember what happened in the last round? Well, I hope you keep remembering it, but this is going to be a big stagger. Time to regroup and try to contest.
Yes, they will. I mean, they've got Shadow available. They can just play super far up, but look how far Ivy is away from Blizzard. Architect a couple of headshots, he'll be there, no problem, and they can even window really early. They do just that. High Noon comes out too.
Great wall right there, too, to try to contest. Force Godspeed out of position right there. The Shatter coming in. Jonak, he's out of this fight once again. Flora's going to meet him up. And the NYXL, it's going to be too much damage here, while the rest Spark, they're going to be able to not only clear this point, but I love the way that they still have the sound barrier. They wiped up the NYXL, and they're building a lot of that momentum pushing forward after this point A. Also, now they've been able to try to retake that high ground. The great Maywall coming alive, though, from Ivy to stop their approach. And the Diva Bomb is going to be able to find Friday. That's going to be the aggressor right here for the Spark to not only take control of this payload, but this high ground, too. It's going to be a cleanup as the NYXL. They're going to be able to meet up themselves back into the spawn, but at least they have some ultimates to work with when they try to reproach.
Here, however, with Ivy with the Blizzard. However, there's a Blizzard available, as well as that High Noon from Flora around the corner.
Trying to control that space. The Shatter coming alive. Finding two, though, on that stun, the sound barrier to keep the rest of NYXL alive. And then you have IDK to match that. Godspeed with another dead.
Oh my god.
Flora and Friday, they fall through, and the NYXL. Great wall coming alive from Architect. It's just going to be a cleanup here for the Spark, as they are going to be able to not only get this payload moving, but the NYXL, they're gone, and Spark leaving a statement. The stun at the same time, and now the Diva Vet coming in to force out the respect. Yakpung does have that shield
Jonak dies
but
again.
Gushui finds Jonak with the fire strike, and at the same time, Yakpung now trades that for IDK. Big Diva Bomb coming in from Bianca, and YXL are taking too much damage as this Blizzard not only controls that space, but potentially now has saved Spark, as they are going to be on this payload as the timer runs out. Back from both these teams that we're seeing right here. The wall actually trying to isolate Spark. Gushui gets frozen, but the sound barrier from IDK tries to save him, but it's not enough here. Jaws, Architect, and Gushui, they fall to NYXL, and nobody there. I mean, you had the Diva right there, but the NYXL, they just cleared the point, and they take the second map, putting themselves at map series. Is going to be able to control some of that spacing. The bombs, unfortunately, they're falling through, and Godspeed is going to allow the rest of the Spark to move right over in. The rally coming alive to keep this aggression, and they're booting the NYXL off. MCD, we see you clicking heads. We see you. We're talking about Godspeed real quick, but meanwhile, MCD is out here and has a Transcendence to match that, and nobody left from the NYXL to touch.
One ticket now acquired, as they do use the mines and the Transcendence to try and clear them off, as Architect lands a two-man false four on that grab.
Oh man, that opportunity that was presented to itself from the NYXL after they took care of IDK, that was immediately shut down the moment that Architect came into play. Nice of the NYXL,
MCD.
A Spark. They still managed to find these picks here, Jaws, and MCD. We got our eyes on you. He's looking at Jonak, and he's telling him, I'm the captain now. And the Spark are being able to hold back the NYXL for this entire point.
Architect there just stood in front of Yakpung's charge. You're not touching the point now. They're just burning extra time. There's no way you can do anything.
Yeah.
Jonak does get a full volley, actually, of sticky bombs there from Architect, but is going to be able to save himself with the Immortality Field. Point is completely capped by NYXL, and now they do get the payload moving eventually. Architect, yeah, you're dead, son. Nothing else to really do.
Sentence to keep the rest of Spark alive, and this is actually going great for them after they take out Bianca first in this fight. Ivy with the Blizzard is going to be able to control this point, and they're just going back and forth here, Jaws.
Yeah, they are. With Architect taking out Youngpong, that's a pretty big pick, but trapped in this very small bar room. MCD luckily killing off Jonak, but Ivy is still there, freezing your entire team. Gushwei, he's dead, too much CC, and even Architect decides to join for a cheeky pint. I mean, yeah. Kind of see it, because if it was on the first point, in the second point, it might have been worth it. Bob kills Ivy though, as Architect transforms into Winston.
And you have less than a minute on board here for the NYXL to take the second point, and it's not going to happen. The duplicate coming in from Architect is not only going to send everybody to Shadow Realm, instead NYXL, they have to respect Architect, and they are going to go for this potential last push. I got my eyes too on MCD, who has that Transcendence. Flora does manage to find that. Oh, but MCD actually uses the Transcendence first here. Now going all in. NYXL, they finally find themselves on this payload. The Valkyrie to keep the rest of Shock alive. Gushwei taking a lot of that damage. He falls through, and he was about to get minefields. Godspeed makes the swap over to the Tracer to quickly get back, but it's too late right now. They're cleaning up the point. NYXL, they finally get onto that second point that they were able to struggle with a little bit versus the Spark.
So low. Discord Orb and Bob shooting at him as well as everybody else too. With Post-Bob locked in, can't get anything but forces Transcendence.
Yeah, the Transcendence comes in from MCD, and he had to at the same time right there, but was it worth it? IDK had fallen with the rally too. The Minefields actually finds Flora, but the NYXL, they're still leading in numbers, and look at this charge. Bianca wasting no time to melt away the rest of the Spark, and these Minefields are still finding members of the NYXL, but they will be able to try to get back in before this last attempt on Spark to push on this point. First plans, Sakata actually managed to get MCD. Now being able to follow up though.
Again.
Flora is still on fire. Just dropped down from that high ground to make sure to follow up with the rest of NYXL, and Spark. They're sent back to the spawn with less than 40 seconds in the time bank to take it to that second point here, Jaws.
Oh, that was disgusting.
They were looking great.
Look at this.
It looked like they had the potential to come in, and they're going
on a goose squad.
Oh,
like Flora,
and they're
the AoE damage is insane.
Oh, but they pay for it at the same time. But Flora is unstoppable right now, despite losing Bianca and Jonak. You have Yakpung and Flora absolutely popping off. You have currently Gushwei on the point. They need to manage to boot him off so the overtime ticks away. They're trying to stagger all the way in, but that Dynamite dealing so much damage. Can they get there on time? They do. Absolutely chaotic right now, Jaws. Would look to be a grim situation now. The Spark have now been able to turn that around. The Bob has been used up from Flora. Yakpung is building into those mines, but the Spark are still finding these picks.
Yeah, the press Q to win button comes online again for IDK as Gushwei slams onto Jonak as he's not left with a bone left in his body, or a screw and a bolt, I guess. Friday and Flora end up taking out Gushwei and Architect. OT's ticking down now, Vicky.
And not only that, NYXL, they're finding picks, but they're low themselves. Yakpung falls through, but the Spark, there's nobody left. And the NYXL, they're excelling through over the Spark, currently taking the first series of APAC that we've opened up today with.